Hi everyone, welcome to my live. I do not know what I'm doing to be honest. I'm saying hi everyone, but there's no one watching, but that's fine. I do not know what I do not know how to I really do not know how to do the whole live thing, but I am excited for my first live. And the topic, I don't know if there's a way I can put the topic. Okay, I cannot find a way to do so because I am filming or recording on my phone, which is not the most impressive phone. But yeah, I'm I just want to talk about my topic for today is what will be nice. So it's just gonna be brief because this is my first live ever and I really just wanted to test the waters and see what it was like to make it live. So, so I just want to talk about the topic is what would be nice. It's just like random thoughts that I have, and the first and the major one that I'm going to talk about would be alternative therapies becoming standardized. Alternative therapies becoming standardized is one thing that would be nice. And I say this as a pharmacist who had an undergraduate project in pharmacognosy department, and I really enjoyed it. It is something that it's one of the best. It was one of the best times of my pharmacy school. Be working in the lab and researching, and I really think that alternative therapies are underutilized. And when I say alternative therapies, I mean it's also called complementary and alternative medicine. I mean herbalism. And I think that it is being underutilized. What I mean is that many times when you see, hello, I don't know who joined, but hello, welcome. I cannot see who joined. Okay, see, hello, Zayden. So I'm talking about what would be nice. Hello, everyone. I'm talking about what would be nice, and I am talking about alternative therapies becoming standardized. And I think that would be nice because I think that many times when you go and check up, maybe a therapy that or a herb that many people use for a certain treatment and you look it up, there's not a lot of research on it. There's not a lot of research done. Thank you so much, Game. There's not a lot of research done on alternative therapies, and so you'd see things like it has shown a lot of promise in the trial stages or when it has been tested on animals, but there's not a lot of data on human beings, and I always wonder why. I know that research takes decades, and I know that research takes a lot of money, but I think that we can do more when it comes to alternative therapies. I hope that, and I know that it's been nice for it to, I hope that someday we humans would be able to crowdfund alternative therapies. I hope that that's something that happens if the people who are supposed to fund research are no longer willing to do so. I hope that we as human beings can come together and fund some research on alternative therapies. So that is something that I really hope for. That hello game, that is something that I really hope that would happen someday. I hope that we can fund research on humans and so much more. Okay, and this brings me to some of my favorite herbs and some of my favorite alternative therapies as a pharmacist. And the first one I would say is aloe vera. I love it so much. It's one plant that I know a lot of research has been done on it, but I don't think enough has been done on it because there's just so much it can do, and I don't see it like on the shelf in pharmacies. I don't see a lot of products that were maybe extracted from it on the shelf, and I think that would be a nice idea. One of the ways that aloe vera helps is with burns, and I had an experience with it when I was way younger, when something really hot poured on me, and I was using like over the counter like creams for it, and it was healing but really really slowly. And I decided to use aloe vera, and uh, um it healed so well that I do not even know which hand that had the injury. So there was no scarring left behind. So I do not even know right now whether it was my left hand or my right hand that was affected by the whole hot hot oil, or was it hot cream? I think so. So that's one of my alternate therapies that I really love as a pharmacist. The second one would be garlic. I think that garlic is really beneficial for things like cough, for things like minor infections. It's really effective. And okay, there are even garlic capsules in pharmacy. There are like garlic capsules for those who do not want to go around smelling like garlic but want some of the benefits of garlic. So that is one other alternate therapy that I really love as a pharmacist, and I have used it several times for cough, like for cough, I think phlegmy cough. It helps you when you mix it with honey. It helps you break down the phlegm and expel it. The next one will be bitter leaf. I think that it's really good. I do not know. I've not really done any personal, should I call it personal research on it, but it would really be nice if I can do a little bit of research on it and see how well it helps me with my blood sugar. Okay, but I think that bitter leaf has been shown in some cases to help with the management of blood sugar and to help with the management of diabetes. And I think it's really good it helps to, if you are constipated, I think it really helps you to, use to be more regular. So that is some of the those are some of my favorite alternative medicines, or alternative herbs. I also love lemongrass, and it is used for, it's many people use it as a preventive therapy for malaria. So I really don't know if it's really effective because I've not really tried it. I mostly just use it as tea sometimes. What I know that has helped me, this is mostly anecdotal evidence. I do not have any proof. But I think bitter leaf also helps with malaria, because I noticed that in the past I used to treat malaria maybe every 2 months. But if I take bitter leaf often, it's like it makes the treatment, especially if I take it immediately after I just completed a dose of like a completed malaria treatment, I feel like it helps me to not treat myself for longer. So if let me say I treat myself now and then I start taking bitter leaf, I think I would not need to treat malaria for almost 6 months. Whereas if I did not take bitter leaf regularly, I might have needed to treat myself after 2 months or 6 weeks. So thank you, game. It's fine. So that is something that I really like bitter leaf for malaria treatment. And I also like lemongrass. You can mix it, but I love bitter leaf and I love lemongrass you can mix them together to treat malaria. So those are some of my therapies, and I forgot what else I wanted to talk about on my life. All right, what else would be nice? The theme and the title of my life is what would be nice. And so what else would be nice apart from alternative medicines alternative therapy is becoming standardized. I think I would love to see a movie or a series that focuses on human beings, that I don't know how to explain it, that focuses less on the zombies, right? I would love to see a dystopian zombie series that focuses on human beings making do. I don't know how to explain it, but just imagine like reading a book where that is supposed to be a dystopian book or like a zombie book, but instead of seeing zombies, you see a medical doctor like go through his day trying to treat people without access to without access to the regular medications. I would love to see that. Maybe it might not make a good movie or a series, but I think it might make a good book to like see people build the, because I feel like it's most times when we watch dystopian movies, we only watch the breakdown of the world. But I would love to see people build a world. I only saw one movie that did that. I've forgotten the name of the movie. The whole movie was just human beings trying to build up after a disaster. And I found that interesting because I know chaos is interesting. Chaos is far more interesting for most of us, right? The breakdown of the world. But I really think that, you know, tr- um, trying to build is also interesting. So I would love to see like a doctor's day. I would love to read a book where a doctor or an engineer, but mostly doctor or a pharmacist, because that is my field. I'm a pharmacist, and I would just love to see how they treat people in this world that's absent of regular therapies. And this is why I really really liked what's the name of the series now? This is why I really liked Outlander. Outlander was really amazing in making like Claire treat people with alternative herbs and all that. And at that time, I think when I first watched Outlander, I was in year 3 of university. So it was really nice seeing some of the herbs that she treated people with and going back to my textbook and seeing those herbs there, because a lot of drugs that we have today started out as from plants. So that is something that I would love to see. And speaking of stories, I had a story idea. I don't know, I have a story idea for, okay, this one that I'm talking about is a book idea that I was hoping to write a book on. Maybe not really is a novel, but a novella about a doctor that's trying to is trying to a doctor that is trying to treat patients without access to medicine. But I also had an idea for a story when I was watching one of these mafia romances online, and it did not make much sense. But it was about, because when you see mafia guys in movies, they are so good looking, right? But in real life, the pictures portray a different story. So I just had this idea while watching it about a real mafia guy that calls to his wife and it's like, come and see how they are portraying me. I don't know, but like he doesn't look anything like the movies, right? He's just a regular looking guy, and it was just a funny thought I had, and I was hoping to explore. But you know how if you are a writer, you know how you have these thoughts that feel great in your mind, and then when you say them out or write them out, they just fall apart and it does not make a lot of sense. It does not feel like it can be a story. So I was thinking of making a book that is titled Little Road That Leads Nowhere, or something related to that, about stories that I have, like ideas that I have that do not lead anywhere, that are not really great stories, but they might be interesting to explore. So that is all this life. I do not know how this came across. I do not know how this will come across because it's just a ramble. I will use my life mostly for rambling, and I have a lot to ramble about. Yes, I have a lot to ramble about, but mostly I just hope, I'm just putting out there that hopefully we get to the point where we can start crowdfunding our therapies, like crowdfunding our researches. I'm sorry, I'm going to mute for a second. Okay, so the major thing I wanted to ramble about today is I really am exhausted with going to check up something and saying, oh, it should promise, but there's not a lot of studies done, on humans. So not a lot of studies have been done. What is taking so much time? I hope that someday we can have more research done on things that people are really interested in and that will help people's lives. I hope that someday we can crowdfund some of our studies if the guys that are supposed to sponsor it do not want to sponsor it, or maybe they do not have enough money to. I don't know. Anyway, that's all for this live. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to the random people that joined. Thank you all. It was so fun to try this out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, how do I end this? Let me see. I don't know. This is so weird. All right, I can see how to end it now. Bye. Oh, I'm still live. Wow. How am I still live? Jeez. End. Wow. This is weird. Well, I can't go off. I can't log off. I can't end my life. This is weird. This is strange. Oh dear.